As Scarlet and Violet cards start to get older, the promos are starting to get bought out. As I was doing my weekly check-in with the market and going through promos and looking at best selling for the week, I found a few things that may interest you. Hi, my name is Sam with Loomis Card Craze, where I buy, sell, and trade Pokemon cards and various other TCGs on eBay. I'm constantly growing my store and getting more cards listed, so I figured it was time to start a YouTube channel where I talked about my journey and what I look for every week. And yeah, so let's go ahead and jump on in. The promos. As I was going through promos this week, so my standard process is I will go through best selling on TCG Player for promos, each set for Scarlet and Violet and Mega Evolutions. I don't pay much attention to Sword and Shield and back at this moment, as I'm looking to make some more modern plays as I go through. One thing that surprised me was the cards that were on the most sold this week. So we'll go through a few of them and we'll kind of talk about my thoughts behind them and where we're looking. First one I want to talk about is number one best-selling is the Victini number 208 standard promo, not the Pokemon Center version, just the promo. There was a large sale that happened yesterday. Looking at TCG Player, there was about 160 copies that were sold yesterday. My guess is it was to one individual, as there are sales of 84 and 30 in the quantity, so I'm guessing one seller had that quantity and they were just bought up. So what does that mean for the market? Price stays the same, right? There's so much of that card that's currently on the market, but as we continue to get out of this period of Scarlet and Violet, as it continues to age, it could go up. If these cards continue to dry up, the Victini is now under 100 listings for near mint on TCG Player. That's not quantity, right? That's just listings. I didn't feel like doing the math. So that is one card to watch out for. Another card, and the next two cards isn't going to surprise anybody, right? It's the Mew and the Mewtwo from the 151 UPC collection. The Mew had a large buyout. I use the word buyout loosely, right? Who knows if it's a buyout? Who knows if it's just individuals realizing that the card is almost out of print and it's going to be more difficult to get them. The Mew has risen to $60 and the Mewtwo is up to about $45. They're starting to run, which, like 151, doesn't surprise anybody, right? It was just a matter of time until they started making their move, just like the Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur from 151 did last week. This may be their week, who knows? Those are two cards I would recommend watching out for. Another card that surprised me was the Mimikyu, number 75, both the Pokemon Center and the standard promo. Those also had quite a few purchases this last week. They are also at the top of the bestsellers list for the week. Looking at the Pokemon Center Mimikyu promo, there was 10 sold this weekend, which is a lot higher quantity than we've seen in the past couple weeks, right? Price remains stagnant, remains the same. It's about $50 for a near mint copy. However, I can't reiterate this enough, as these cards and series start going out of print, we may see another run like we did last summer with promos from Scarlet and Violet. Now, there's no telling what they're going to do, right? If they're going to go up 50%. The Mimikyu, great example, Pokemon Center Edition was up to $100 last summer during the bull run, right? And then it dropped back down to 40, and now it's back up to 50. It's periodically making its way back up there. But what does that mean for all the other promos? It's just like Sword and Shield promos. They're starting to dwindle. They're starting to get out of print. I think Scarlet and Violet may be a little more interesting comparatively to Sword and Shield, as there's a lot more product that's getting ripped by ripping shippers, by just individual collectors. We're seeing, as everyone knows, right, a large influx in folks who are ripping packs. However, collecting is also at an all-time high as well. So these promos, especially the Pokemon Center ones, they may dwindle. We're not really sure what that's going to entail for the future, right? The Mimikyu, again, great example. There's under 50 near mint copies. I was looking at it earlier, and there's 30 of those 50 below $80. So if somebody came in, had a large chunk of cash and bought them all up as the price rises, that quantity starts to dwindle, and it starts to dwindle very, very fast. Now, again, like anything else, as the price runs, people are going to put more copies on the market, and just supply and demand, it's going to continue to churn and burn, right? However, Mimikyu is a pretty popular Pokemon. So I'll be intrigued to see what happens with that one specifically. Last one I want to talk about is, actually I have two more, I lied. The Snorlax from 151 and the Charmander. Again, not a surprise for anybody. Both the Pokemon Center copies and the standard promos are running, and they're running fast. The Snorlax, I believe, was almost up to $200, which is just insane to me. The standard copy was up to $20, which for a promo for a product that was widely available for such a long time, consistently on shelves, that's quite a bit of money for one single promo card. So again, those are ones I will be very intrigued to see what they do. Unfortunately, I missed the wagon on both the Snorlax and the Charmander, so I'm just a watcher. I enjoy watching cards and seeing what they're going to do, as I feel it gives me empirical data for what other cards are going to do. Whether I'm making a play on those cards or not, it's fun to watch. And yes, I completely understand that makes me sound like a nerd. However, you've made it 6.5 minutes into this video, so what does that say about you? I'm just kidding. Anywho, as the promos continue to run, I think that's going to surprise a lot of people. Everyone's focus right now is on 151 as 151 makes that bull run. So what are the silent partners in the back? What are they buying? And I think I found it. You can't tell me that between these 6 cards, there's been over 500 quantities sold in the last 3-4 days, that somebody's not silently making a move. Again, wish I had that kind of capital to make that kind of move. Imagine grading those and what that would look like. Oh, maybe one day. Anywho, if you enjoy this content, if you enjoy me talking about the market, drop a like, drop a subscribe. Any little bit helps as I continue to grow this channel. And as always, my shill at the end. My eBay description is in the link below, as well as my TCG bulk link. If you are looking to sell your bulk, this is a great way to get rid of it. I went through quite a bit of listings, and I am one of the highest priced individuals on TCG bulk as I continue to grow and scale my business. And if you don't want to go through a third party and you want to reach out to me directly, my email address is in the description below. Any little bit helps as I continue to grow along this journey. I just appreciate you guys being here at the end of the day. So if you like the content, again, let me know what you want to see, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for being here.